What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to this week's, I guess this will be our first full episode of the greatest podcast on turf. I'm Anthony.
I'm Ryan.
It's currently Tuesday, November 26th at about 10 o'clock p.m. Happy Thanksgiving Eve, everybody. We have a video dropping tomorrow, but we're truly thankful for all our supporters. We really appreciate all you guys, and even if you just like a post, like a video, subscribe to the channel, no matter what, we're truly thankful. So we hope you guys have a great, safe holiday, Thanksgiving with your family, and we truly appreciate and we're thankful for all you guys. Today we are back with our Week 12 Fantasy Football Stardom Situms. This is a pretty big week. We're getting close to the Fantasy Football playoffs. We've got every single team playing this week. So everybody's team, no, you don't got to worry about bye weeks. If you have some injuries, yeah, damn, you got to worry about that. But there's no bye weeks this week. Everybody's playing. So without injuries, you got to throw your best players out there. And hopefully we're here to give you guys some insight and some potential looks if you guys had some questions about some players. So with all that being said, don't forget to like the video. But most importantly, please subscribe to the channel. It truly helps us out more than you guys know when you guys click that subscribe button. Like I always say, even if you never come back and you just subscribe and leave, we still appreciate the subscription. And before we get into any Stardom Situm analysis, Ryan's going to tell you guys about today's sponsor.
Little Italy Pizzeria. They got the best cheesesteaks, the best pizza in all of Delaware. 2 locations, Middletown, Delaware. Middletown? Townsend. Shoot. What's that? Come in and check it out. Let them know that the greatest podcast on turf sent you. They will take care of you. Should prove that you're subscribed, that you listen to us. And they will hook you up with an additional discount.
Just want to throw it out there for the real podcast listeners. If you go into Little Italy in Townsend and I'm there, I promise you I will buy your meal if you show proof you're subscribed. I'll literally buy your meal. I'm a buyer. Starting off, my Stardom quarterback this week. This is a guy with many nicknames. Some know him as God.
Just you.
Some know him as the greatest of all time. Others know him as Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. That's who we're starting this week. We got Tom Brady traveling to Cleveland, playing the Browns. It's literally as simple as this. The Bucs are coming off the bye week. It's getting to the time of the year where Tom Brady knows what's on the line. He knows it's getting to be playoff time. He knows what's at stake here. These games coming down the stretch, fighting for a playoff seat, fighting for them potential home games in the playoffs. It's a big deal. Brady's locked in. Giselle was cheating on him. He's pissed off. The Bucs are winning the Super Bowl. Start God coming off the bye this week, pissed off after his ex-wife cheated on him. It's literally as simple as that.
My quarterback start this week, it is Geno Smith going up against the Vegas Raiders. Geno Smith has been on my list a few times. He's a proud member of my Stardom team.
Him and Isaiah Pacheco.
Him and Pacheco. I've been a truther. But Geno Smith, he's been pretty good this season so far. 19-20 most of the way out. I mean, he had a couple bad games, one against San Francisco, one against Arizona. But I think he's going to be giving you pretty decent numbers this week against Vegas. Vegas is top 5 in points allowed against quarterbacks. They're just a shit show team, if we're being completely honest, unfortunately for them. Geno Smith is coming off of a bye week, which is great for him. Got another extra week of practice just to prepare for the Vegas Raiders. Just in case they needed it at all. Probably don't. And Geno, like I said, the last 3 weeks, 19, 21, 19. He has a pretty decent receiving core around him with DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. Kenneth Walker has looked like a stud so far this year. This offense runs a lot of plays. They're different than other teams like the Packers, in which they don't care how much time's left on the play clock. They're running the ball. They're calling a play. They run the most plays on offense, and that is great for fantasy purposes. So go ahead and start Geno Smith this week.
Yeah, moving on to Situm quarterback this week. My Situm quarterback this week is more of a streamer type of guy. Daniel Jones. When these two teams faced off week 3 of the regular season, Daniel Jones had 14 fantasy points. He threw 196 yards with an interception, and he had 80 yards rushing, which ain't bad. But with these games down the stretch, getting 14 points from your quarterback isn't going to cut it. We all saw what the Cowboys just did last week to Kirk Cousins and the Vikings on offense. They completely annihilated them. It's this game is in Jerry's world. It's in Dallas. Thanksgiving Day. Dallas is the Thanksgiving Vets. It is a divisional matchup. Dallas literally played out of their minds last weekend against the Vikings. It is a short week. It's going to be a slobber knocker divisional matchup. I think the Cowboys win this one big, and I think Daniel Jones really has his work cut out for him this week against the Cowboys defense that has been among the top 5 defenses in the league this year. and they're allowing the fewest passing yards a game to opposing quarterbacks. That's something to look out for. And when Darius Slayton and Kenny Golladay are the Giants' 2 top dogs at receivers this week, that's also not a good thing. So sit Daniel Jones this week.
My sit-em quarterback this week, it's Kirk Cousins against New England. You want to be like a little bit cautious of this and definitely weigh your options. If you have like other guys or another quarterback that's on the fence, definitely let us know and we will give you our take, because this is a guy that's like on the fringe between the start and sit, just depending on your situation. Like if you're in a 12-man league, you might have to. More than 12-man league, you probably definitely have to. But Kirk Cousins against New England, I don't love it. Against Dallas, he obviously did really bad. And New England could be more of the same. New England's defense isn't as good as Dallas's in terms of pass rush, which is really the thing that got to Kirk Cousins. We were on him pretty often. And
New
I
England
think
is second in sacks in the league, though, this year. Just want to throw it out there.
Yeah, who's first?
Touche.
Whatever. I'm having a complete brain fart right now. Having a complete moment.
Kirk
Cousins. Thanks. Kirk Cousins, he should be able to, like, I'm kind of iffy on it because in theory he should be able to bounce back after getting absolutely obliterated by the Dallas Cowboys. But on the other hand, they're playing prime time. Thursday night, they're the only game on television. It's a holiday. What is everybody doing? They just ate. They're feeling big. When you're feeling big, what are you going to do? You ain't going to go outside and go for a run. You're going to sit your ass down on the couch and watch Kirk Cousins.
Yup.
Kirk Cousins at home is usually pretty good. Granted, last week against Dallas was not good.
But it's prime time.
But it is prime time. So it's kind of iffy. Weigh your options. If Geno's out there, I'd much rather have Geno.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. That's where I'm at.
Stardom running back this week. My first guy. This guy's been on my list quite a lot this week. He was held under 50 yards rushing last week, but this is going to be a bounce back game for him. It's Miles Sanders going up against the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers are allowing just shy of 140 yards to opposing running backs per game this year. The game script is there for the Eagles. It's going to be a cold night in Philly with some potential rain, even maybe some flurries. So this is pointing for the Eagles to come out here and run the ball down the Packers' throat and have a field day against them, since they are literally allowing almost 140 rushing yards a game. This is the Miles Sanders bounce back week. This is the week where Miles Sanders bursts back on the scene, helps you win the week. And it's positive game script. In theory, the Eagles are a lot high-powered on offense compared to what the Packers have been. So if the Eagles do come out here pissed off after the way these past 2 weeks have gone for them and do score a lot of points, that's only going to play into the favor of Miles Sanders, especially in the passing game. And in the passing game as well, they're without Dallas Goedert. So, I mean, that's just another target. That's just more targets for Miles Sanders to potentially accumulate in the passing game. So if you have Miles Sanders, don't look in the past. Don't look at how the last week, even the past 2 weeks arguably have gone for him. He'll be fine. This is his week to come back and bounce back.
My first starting running back this week is Jeff Wilson going up against Houston. Houston is the worst defense in terms of going up against the run. 153 rushing yards per game. Jeff Wilson is on a Miami Dolphins offense, which is one of the best offenses in all of football. Just between the receivers, they've been able to put up a lot of points. The last 2 weeks for Jeff Wilson, 22-16. The Dolphins put up 39 and 35 points in those games, respectively. And they're coming off of a bye week, going up against Houston. The Dolphins are contenders, whether you want to admit it or not.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to look to keep rolling. The Dolphins' schedule gets tough coming up, so they need to win all the easy games that they can. Houston should be blowout. This is positive game script because when they're up by 40, you got to get the ball to somebody. And who's somebody? Jeff Wilson.
Yep.
So start Jeff Wilson this week. Should be pretty good in the red zone. Should be very efficient running the ball. Him and Mostert should absolutely tear up this defense.
Yeah.
You know, Mostert's he's had the third most yards per carry out of all running backs in history.
Really?
For 400 attempts.
For real?
And Pollard's fifth.
Oh my god damn.
Yeah. I saw the list. It's a lot of current guys.
Really?
Yeah. Number one's Bo Jackson.
That makes sense though.
But my man Mostert's up there.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Second stardom running back of the week, Latavius Murray of the Denver Broncos. He had 17 fantasy points, even with Melvin Gordon having a solid outing with 12. And he's literally the only running back in this running back room. Melvin Gordon got cut, and I'm pretty sure Chase Edmonds might be on IR. So it's literally the Latavius Murray show.
He definitely has a high ankle sprain.
So it's literally Latavius Murray in the backfield.
Yep.
And they're playing against a very, very, very bad Carolina Panthers defense against the run. This is going to be a low-scoring game. It's Russell Wilson and the terrible Denver Broncos versus Sam Darnold and friends in Carolina. I think that Latavius Murray should be in for a good day. Again, he's literally the only running back on the Broncos depth chart right now that's worth a goddamn. They're going to have to get going on offense somehow. What better way than giving the ball to your cornerstone franchise running back in Latavius Murray? So start Latavius Murray this week. The volume's going to be there. If he's available on waivers, pick him up. We didn't do a waiver wire episode this week. Latavius Murray's only 26% rostered right now. It's probably going to go up by the time you guys are seeing this. But pause the video, go check if he's there, and if he is, pick him up because he's got a pretty solid schedule coming up. Carolina, Baltimore, Kansas City, Arizona. All not that great against the run. So go ahead, pick up Latavius Murray and start him this week.
Look at your boy at 27. My second start, I'm running back this
O.J.
week.
Simpson right above him. He's in the
Zeke Elliott going up against the Giants.
God
I know
damn.
that Tony Pollard is the main man in Dallas, and
Is he though?
I mean, he's the main man in terms of fantasy.
It's fair.
Zeke Elliott is what he is. He's going to get his goal line touches. He is going to get touches in between the tackles. It's a 1A, 1B type of situation. Zeke looked pretty good last week, in my opinion, for what he is. 15 carries, 42 rush yards, 2 rush touchdowns. And I think that we can see similar results against the Giants. The Giants are nothing special in terms of run defense or nothing special in terms of team at all. And the Cowboys are like 9, 10-point favorites, give or take, something like that. Which is positive game script, meaning who are they going to give the ball to? It's going to be Zeke and Elliott. Zeke and Pollard.
Zeke and Elliott.
Zeke and Elliott. Zeke and Pollard. Zeke, like I said, he had 2 touchdowns last week. He might not get 2 touchdowns again this week, but I could see a pretty decent floor for Zeke Elliott. And it's bright times ahead with Colts. There's a game with Houston. And I play against Pollard that week. That's going to be fun. But yeah, go ahead and start Zeke Elliott this week against the Giants.
And my first sit, I'm running back this week. This is similar to the Kirk Cousins sit Ryan said. I don't know how I feel about this, but I'm leaning more towards sit him, and that is Dalvin Cook, or Dalvin C-O-K, according to Yahoo. Yeah. It's simple as this. The Patriots have only allowed one opposing 100-yard rusher this year and only allowed 4 rushing touchdowns on the season. Dalvin Cook has only gone for over 100 yards twice this season so far. Yeah, Dalvin Cook, he is averaging upwards of 5 yards a carry this year, but he hasn't really seen a rushing defense in terms of the Patriots. The Patriots are a top 4 defense against the rush this year in fantasy football, and I just really don't know how I see this game playing out. Like in terms of like score, like I can like normally like you get a feel of like how a game's gonna go, like just based off matchup. But the Patriots and Vikings, it's such a weird matchup.
It's like 24-17.
Yeah, with nobody really standing out. Like, I mean, it's just this is just one of those weird games, and that's why I mean Dalvin Cook's on the list. Normally, I'd be like, don't, it's getting too cute, but we had some. We don't give a shit. Somebody said we need to be more confident in our starts and sits. I'm confident. Sit Dalvin Cook this week against the Patriots' stifling run defense, who has only allowed 100-plus yard rusher and 4 rushing touchdowns on the year.
Yeah.
This is not the Dalvin Cook week.
Yeah.
Yup. Now pick up right where I left off with your first sit 'em running back.
Alvin Kamara.
Yup.
Why?
Because we don't give a fuck. That's
going up
why.
against San Francisco, second hardest run defense in football, and my man Alvin Kamara hasn't been doing that much to begin with. Hasn't been scoring touchdowns. He is on a Saints offense that is absolutely, positively, completely terrible at football. Going up against the San Francisco defense that I want absolutely no parts of. This is a San Francisco team that I am scared of. As a Dallas Cowboy fan, I am petrified.
Tell him Tom Brady wants all the smoke. Tell him.
Tom Brady doesn't know what's coming with this San Francisco team.
Tell
Tom Brady can't play defense.
Tell Tom Brady that. Tell the 49ers.
How are you going to stop the Niners?
Tell him that Brady wants all the smoke.
How are you going to stop them?
Give me Brady. I'm not going to bet against him.
How do you stop the Niners offense?
Tom Brady will go touchdown for touchdown with him.
Sounds good.
It sounds amazing, actually, but I guess we'll see once NFC Championship time rolls around.
Yeah, he ain't making it. But yeah, Kamara, he has a pretty gauntlet of a schedule coming up. San Francisco, Tampa Bay bye week, which is absolutely horrible for this time of the year.
Yeah.
But if you survive, it's kind of pretty after that with Atlanta, Cleveland, Philly. Either way, I mean, sitting Alvin Kamara, like, I have Alvin Kamara in one of my leagues, and I'm not going to lie, I'm not sitting him. Just because of the fact that I don't have a running back wealth of better than Alvin Kamara. But I mean this in the way of daily fantasy, he will not be on one of my teams.
Nope.
If Rashad White starts, there is a chance that I put him in over Kamara. If Leonard Fournette's out, I probably will. Granted, I have Isaiah Pacheco at the flex right now. Do I really want to do that? I mean, he had 100 yards last week, but watch him get Darrell Henderson just to piss me off.
Yeah.
But yeah, sit Alvin Kamara. I'm not too confident in the guy.
Yo, be confident. We ain't confident in
No,
shit.
I'm not too confident in Kamara. Is what I'm saying.
We know what we're talking about, cause.
Why you signed a jersey on that?
That's total Delco Philly, cause.
South Park says that. South Park, you signed a jersey.
Yeah. Remember that episode of South Park where it was like everyone from New Jersey came in?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I was just. My next sit-em running backs. This is a group of running backs who recently had a spot in the running back room open up. Ryan just touched on them. It's the Los Angeles Rams running backs. I know this is kicking the dog.
Just stomp on the damn.
But I
just
know
shoot the
that there's
dog.
people like, oh, Darrell Henderson got cut. Let's start Cam Akers. Let's start Kyron Williams. You don't know what you're going to get. I mean, you don't. Is Matt Stafford really out again this week?
Probably.
What did he do now?
I thought he had like a concussion or something.
He played last week against the Saints.
But he got hurt.
Did he again?
Stafford back in concussion protocol after week 11.
Dog.
I don't think he played the whole game against the Saints.
Really?
I'm pretty sure he got hurt. I remember him on the sideline.
And again, I mean, that just does not help these running backs' case at all. That just does not help their case at all. Because where are they going to let... They're not going to load the box against John Wolford and dare him to throw the ball? I mean, you can't start the Rams running backs this week. I mean, there's got to be... I mean, I'd rather start Latavius Murray than a Cam Akers this week. It's literally... They're playing against the Chiefs, who have been hit or miss against the run. But the Rams' offense sucks. Their offensive line's banged up. And especially if it's their backup quarterback, all you have to do is load the box and dare him to throw the ball. The Chiefs' secondary's been good enough to the point where they can do that a little bit. Sit Cam Akers and Kyron Williams this week. You'll thank me Sunday afternoon when these teams play.
For people that say we're not bold enough on the start sit, or we just do what everybody else says, Jamal Williams, I'm sitting. He's RB13 of the year. Kamara's 14, and Dalvin Cook is 11. If that ain't bold, I just don't know what is.
You know what I gotta say to that? Fuck them.
And West Virginia.
If you... Shout out to all our... I was saving it for the next podcast, but we truly appreciate all our West Virginia supporters, but disrespectfully, you guys live in one of the shittiest places I've ever been to in my life. Especially Morgantown. It's just a trash hole. Like, you see that trash can over there? That trash can's nicer than Morgantown,
Please
West Virginia.
clean up the deer on the side of the road.
Yeah, and just get better people there. I mean...
Jamal Williams. He is a guy that has been very, very...
You sound like Chris Collinsworth. Now, here's a guy.
I didn't say here's a guy.
You said he's a guy, but I was...
He is a guy.
I played word. I took a play on your words a little bit.
I hate Chris Collinsworth.
Oh, yeah. I'm better than him.
Anyways, Jamal Williams, very touchdown dependent. 3 touchdowns last week, accounted for 18 of his 24 points. Ain't good. 12 points last week, or the week before, had a touchdown. 10 points the week before, he didn't have a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
But the week before, 22, 2 touchdowns.
You get the memo.
He is RB 14 or 13, I forget what I said, because he has touchdowns. Who's he playing against this week? Buffalo. In my opinion, Buffalo's probably a little bit pissed off. I know they beat Cleveland. People are still writing them off, though. They ain't going to write back. There's 7-8 foot of snow in Buffalo. They're doing this for Buffalo.
We still afloat. We ain't worried.
8 foot of Buffalo, that's a severe weather. You know what happens on severe weathers? Teams dog up. Ask the Saints.
Enough said. No further explanation needed.
Buffalo by
Unless
30.
you had something to say.
No, just Buffalo by 30.
And after that being said, I want to go back and re-record best bets so I can slam Buffalo.
No. Just put it in put it as the top comment.
I was kidding, yeah.
Top comment.
Wouldn't go back and re-record for a 30-minute spiel for me to just restate what you just said on the podcast. I'm going to cut this clip out, put it at the beginning of best bets, and just...
That's one way to get our watch time down.
Yo, all right, starting wide receiver of the week. It's Keenan Allen. You could argue this is kicking the dog, but it's...
I hate our starting receivers this week.
Who is yours? I don't even say. Who's your... God damn. We're confident, though. We don't give a shit what anybody says. It's Keenan Allen. If you watch that Chiefs game, the Chiefs-Chargers game the other night, you saw how glad Justin Herbert was to have Keenan Allen back. Mike Williams played. They rushed him back too early. Keenan Allen had 8 targets, 95 yards on 5 receptions. He did fumble, so that may have gunned him down in points a little bit, but he'll be fine. They are playing against an Arizona Cardinals secondary this week. This has all the makings to be a shootout. I mean, we just saw Brandon Ayuk go crazy on the Cardinals last night.
If Kyler Murray's back.
Debo had a Debo game. If Kyler plays, this has all the makings to be a shootout. If not,
it's going to be a blowout
by the Chargers because Keenan Allen's going to have a day. Justin Herbert was so glad to have a top receiver back.
Yeah.
You literally saw it. He targeted him upwards of 10 times.
Yeah.
He had almost 100 yards receiving, and he would have had a great game if he didn't fumble.
Yeah.
Start Keenan Allen this week. Don't think twice about it. Keenan Allen might be my start of the week this week now that I think about it. Yup. Locking it in, cause
my first receiver start this week, it is Mr. Terry McLaurin going up against Atlanta.
I love it.
Atlanta, I don't think could guard a parked car. And Terry McLaurin is much better than a parked car. Last week, 55 yards, nothing crazy. The week before, 128 yards, just what he does. And I think he's building up a pretty decent rapport with Mr. Tyler Heineke. Is it Taylor? It's Taylor, right?
It's Taylor Heineke. I hate my second starting receiver. I'm trying to change it. Keep talking. Keep talking.
I don't even have much to say.
I got him.
Terry McLaurin should be able to, in theory, I think we're looking at wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 numbers this week. And I know looking at it, it might be a little bit too obvious to say start Terry McLaurin, but I just think he's had like an underwhelming year so far this year. I don't think you're happy that you drafted Terry McLaurin. Like you're not ecstatic. He's been all right, but I think this week against Atlanta, who can't guard shit, Washington's at home, start Terry McLaurin.
Another guy in that game on the opposing side, I want to say maybe start Drake London. Kyle Pitts is out. Somebody's got to accumulate for his 2 extra targets a game he was seeing. And Drake London scored a touchdown in back-to-back games. Just something to look out for. And Washington is another team that can't guard a parked car.
Yeah.
But now my second real starting receiver this week, he was one of my guys.
I was thinking about putting him on there.
He was one of my guys.
I literally had him, and I was like, nah, I'll leave him.
Ryan's been writing him off all year, but he's back. He just torched the Eagles secondary with the 2 best corners in the division, apparently, according to some.
Matt Kelly.
Michael Pittman Jr. going against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are the worst team against wide receivers in fantasy football this year. Michael Pittman had 7 targets, 6 receptions for 75 yards.
I'm telling you right now, this is such a setup for failure.
Oh, I know. I know.
I feel like the Steelers are going to win this game, and I don't know
I picked the Steelers to win this game. I did.
If the Steelers win this game, Michael Pittman ain't doing shit.
I know, but we take the gamble. Michael Pittman was one of my guys for a reason. He was my number 8 fantasy football ranked receiver coming into this year. He's back. The Steelers secondary is tied for most touchdowns allowed to wide receivers this week.
Yep.
Michael Pittman Jr. has not scored a receiving touchdown in 2, 3.
Dude's going to do a lot of counting.
Give me a sec.
You could just scroll right and see there's touchdowns. You know that, right?
He hasn't caught a receiving touchdown since week 1. I mean, you want to talk about due. Michael Pittman Jr. is due for a touchdown. He's literally due. We don't care if it's a Jaredy touchdown or whatever it is. He led the Colts in receiving week 11 against Philly, who's got the 2 best corners in the NFL, according to some.
Matt Kelly.
Michael Pittman Jr. is due this week. He's going to get in the end zone. Michael Pittman, anytime touchdown scorer this week?
The odds on that are just horrible.
Let's look at it right now. We're going to take it at the highest odds. We're going to put my whole Fliff account on it, and we're going to see what happens.
Okay. So let me go ahead and do mine while you're looking up his odds. Gabe Davis. Why?
Yeah.
He's back.
Yup.
Going up against Detroit, they can't guard a parked car.
Yup.
It's in a dome. It's Thanksgiving.
Yup.
Everybody's going to be watching.
Uh-huh.
When people watch, the stars come out.
Yup.
Diggs, Gabe Davis. Those are the stars. Josh Allen's probably pissed off because he hasn't been doing shit.
You know he's pissed off. The player props aren't out yet, but we're slamming it.
And Gabe Davis is going to get his. Why? Last week, 70 yards. Solid. The week before, 93 yards and a touchdown. Going up against Detroit, he's going to dog him. Him and Diggs are going to dog. It's going to be a double dogging. And I think my prediction, me personally, PPR, he's going to hang up a 22 spot for the culture. Yeah.
Sit 'em receivers. I had 3. 2 of them are just kicking the holy shit out of the dog. 2 of them are kicking the living shit out of a dog. And we're going... I mean, dude, 2 of them are for the Chicago Bears.
Yo.
We're going Mooney and Kmet. Especially if Justin Fields is out this week. The Jets secondary has been great all year. They're great against tight ends. They're great against receivers.
Better than Claypool? That's where I thought you were going.
No. But, I mean, even with Justin Fields playing, these guys are risky starts. Darnell Mooney didn't have a bad week last week against the Falcons. Cole Kmet didn't really do much. He had like a measly 6 to 8 points, I think. But I just think, especially with the potential of Justin Fields being out this week, you can't really do it against a Jets defense that has been really, really good all year, despite piss-poor quarterback play. So I'm saying sit Darnell Mooney with the Cole Kmet mix in there this week. Now, if you have to start Cole Kmet, I don't blame you, but I'm telling you right now, if Justin Fields does not play, do not start either of these players. I know it's not saying much, but you know there's got to be a tight end out there that's a safer start than Cole Kmet with whoever the hell the Bears' backup quarterback is.
It's fair.
I'm telling you, with every single team playing this week, there's got to be someone better.
Probably. My first sit-em, it is Mr. DJ Moore going up against Denver. I understand that Sam Darnold is back, and that might cause excitement to some. It's kind of why I put him on there.
Not us.
Just because DJ Moore has been a very he's been a member of the squad. Just always on the
DJ
sit-em
Moore has
side.
been on Anthony's My Guy list for the past 2 years now.
DJ Moore's been on my sit-em team for the past 10 weeks. I think DJ Moore made the list more than Isaiah Pacheco.
It's like every
I've
week.
just been throwing him on there. And nobody knows.
Just kicking the dog, like just literally
kicking the shit out of DJ Moore.
down bad. You're down bad. You can't find a sit-em pass catcher. Oh, DJ Moore. I mean, dude, at that point, sit Robbie Anderson this week too. While you're at it, I mean, Jesus Christ.
At least DJ Moore was my guy, so he's obviously something. DJ Moore going up against Denver, hard defense. I don't like it at all. No. However, I am going to give DJ Moore a little bit of props. If Sam Darnold does keep the job, they obviously have somewhat of a decent relationship. They go to a bye week, which obviously isn't good for fantasy at all. It's actually horrible because,
Especially this late in the season, you're just getting gunned down by bye weeks.
However, after the bye week, week 14, Seattle, not bad.
No.
Pittsburgh,
really good. Really good.
Then Tampa.
Oh, okay.
But Seattle, Pittsburgh, Detroit, with Sam Darnold, might be giving you some wide receiver 2 numbers.
We saw how they started last year, 4-0.
I'm not saying they're going to be 4-0. However, I am saying that I think DJ Moore can have some success in those games, and he won't be on my sit-em team probably anymore. We're turning over a new leaf. Maybe against Tampa, I said. But granted, if you're in the fantasy championship with DJ Moore and you've been starting him, props to you.
Holy shit.
The rest of your squad must be units.
My final sit-em player to wrap up this week, Deontay Johnson out of Pittsburgh. He's kind of turned into the third pass-catching option on this team.
Speaking of kicking the dog.
I mean, it's Pat Freiermuth and George Pickens are Kenny Pickett's favorite guys. Yeah. And I think that we're going to continue to see that throughout the rest of the season and even into next year. I mean, George Pickens is really good.
I think Deontay takes a step up next year.
You think so? Really?
Well, you got to think. Kenny has been practicing with who? Mostly Pickens.
That's true, yeah.
And a rookie quarterback always goes to the tight end.
That's true.
So Pat Freiermuth falls off. Deontay comes back.
That's fair enough. I respect it. But that don't fucking matter for this week. Sit Deontay Johnson. Enough said.
Yeah. Sitting Allen Lazard against Philly. possibly kicking the dog. It's like on the verge.
I thought about sitting him, but then I saw what the Eagles secondary gave up last week, and I just couldn't do it.
In theory, they're pissed off. Granted, probably don't mean shit because they suck. However, Anthony mentioned possible rain, sleet, snow.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't good.
No.
Christian Watson's a wide receiver 1, so that ain't good.
Yup.
Alan Lazard he is going to be against Bradbury. Make me change up my mind.
No. We're fucking confident. Sit
I was
Alan
really
Lazard
just
this
talking
week.
shit on Bradbury because I'm
Oh.
tired of hearing that the dude's
Oh.
good.
Fuck him.
Yeah. Yeah, sit Alan Lazard this week. Granted, he might be on Slay. If he's on Slay, he ain't doing shit. But if he does do something, I'm in the group chat. Because the hate towards Trayvon Diggs has been so bad for no reason.
I can't believe you put Deontay over A.J. Brown on that list.
He was. He is.
No, fuck, he's not.
Recency bias is one hell of a drug, and
How-
I can't believe it got you.
Thank you guys for watching this week's edition of the greatest podcast on turf, Stardom and Sid'em. Listen to us. We're confident than ever. We're riding our high horse.
Yeah.
If you don't see the confidence in these eyes, in those eyes,
Yeah.
you're friggin' blind. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys with our best bets bounce back tomorrow.
Later.
Peace.